1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah, go on. They got me. Check 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Check 1, 1, 2. Thank you very much.
Whichever. Check, check. Light up. There we go. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, and there we are.
All right, we're just going into game 3, our 2 o'clock game. That's the Lane County Concussion versus the Carolina Wrecking Balls. We're going to start out with your skaters for Carolina. We've got number 11, Numchuck. Number 13, Brick House. Number 1633, T-Puff. Number 18, Dr. Dreidel. Number 1813, Cosmic Chocolate. Number 185, Slingin' Grits. Number 188, Nightshade. Number 321, Strange Surprise. Number 33, Shut Your Mouth. Number 5, F-Star. Number 52, Boomerang. Number 63, Moody. Number 667, Billy Goat. Number 82, Toto. And number 87, Black and Wild.
All right, I am Kitty Black here with Discussion, and playing for the Lane County Cushion today, we've got number 13, Photobomb, number 1337, The Riot, number 16, Juke, number 167, Adam Splitter, number 23, Showtime, number 3624, OMG Becky, number 50, Hot Fuzz, number 60, Loose Wheel. Number 69, Don Juan the Devastator. Number 711, Frecklenator. And their captain, number 969, Cutthroat Callie. Okay, Lane County has picked up an early minor lead, currently starting at 3-0. Both jammers pushing on the back of some very tight defense from both teams. Carolina's jammer has broken loose. That is Boomerang. And he is out. Boomerang out on the run for Carolina, seeing if he can pick up some points. And Lane County hot on his heels, and he just clears the pack and calls it, taking that opportunity to shut down Lane County. And that brings our score to 4 points for Carolina and 3 for Lane County. So we have a lead change.
We've got people coming in the chat on Twitch TV, on the Pittsburgh Undead Twitch channel. We've got people saying, woo, go Fuzz. Wrecking Balls do work. Fitz is joining us. And let's go LCC. Coming out with lead is Don Juan for LCC. Numchuck still stuck in his original pass. Don Watton doing work, putting points on the board on their first scoring pass, and they're 3 for 4. Don Juan calls off with a 4-0 jam. That brings us up to 7 points LCC, 4 points Carolina.
Well, let's see what Carolina has to say about that.
Just an official timeout. We've got our NSOs gathered around the scoring table, just confirming we're good on the scoreboard, looks like. Unsung heroes of the Derby tournament, our track team is busy working the track, making sure we're good with all the lines down and all our skaters are safe, not picking up any debris while they skate along.
All right, looks like we are setting back up. Lane County's jammer takes a risk running up that outside, and it does, in fact, pay off. That is number 16, Juke. True to his name. And that is Black and Wild from the Carolina Wrecking Balls. Breaks the pack as the jam is called off. Just looking for a score from the officials. And I believe we are still sitting at 7 points for Lane County and 4 for Carolina.
Just sitting in an official timeout while our NSOs and refs confer.
Yeah, just looking at the live feed for Twitch, that is a good-looking camera angle. Everything's nice and sharp.
And we're back out. T-Puff grabs lead jammer for Carolina. Hammers around the track. Carolina blocker is recycling the LCZ jammer. T-Puff makes a quick pass for 4 points. And T-Puff on the inside with a little bit of an apex jump picks up for 4. LCC taking a star pass to the Riot. T-Puff threw on the outside, clean pass for 4, calls it off. That's a 12-0 jam for Carolina. That takes the score to 16 Carolina, 9 Lane County.
Carolina looking for an early lead in this game. That is Don Juan, the Devastator, jamming for Lane County, just running through that pack like a wrecking ball. Up against Carolina's Boomerang. Boomerang bounces off Some defense at the top of the pack from Frecklenator makes out of the pack to become lead jammer for the Carolina Wrecking Balls. Score is now at 9 points for Lane County and 19 for Carolina.
Now, this is Carolina's second game today. They joined us this morning against Mexico City. That was extremely close game. All teams were in action. So you have to keep in mind Carolina is scoring points on their second game of the day. Lane County's still fresh. They're going to naturally have the advantage just from tournament structure. Nonetheless, both sets of blockers keeping a pretty heavy wall. But finally, we have Juke able to come out as lead jammer for Lane County. Juke back around a scoring pass, takes an apex jump, doesn't make it though. It's going to be recycled back. Numchuck just about to pass the pack, gets recycled by number 13, Photobomb. Juke on a scoring pass. Numchuck still trying to get out. There's Juke with the jump and the points. 4 points on that pass. Numchuck finally able to break out. Juke riding the outside line, calls off the jam before Numchuck's able to get back. Picks up another 4 points on that pass, making that a 8-0 jam for Lane County. It's a close game again. 19 Carolina, 17 Lane County.
All right, looks like Lane County might be looking for a lead change in this jam. All right, that is Black and Wild jamming for the Carolina Wrecking Balls up against Adam Splitter. Both still looking for a way out of that pack. Number 60, Loose Wheel of Lane County, laying a serious hit on Black and Wild, doing some duo work with Frecklenator, knocking him to the inside of the track. And Black and Wild is out on the run as lead jammer for the Carolina Wrecking Balls. Let's see what he can do with this opportunity. Black and Wild coming back up to the pack, looking for some points. In the meantime, Lane County has completed a star pass. So Lane County's jammer is now number 50, Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz pulled to the back of the pack as Black and Wild chooses to call that jam off. Another nice jam for Carolina, bringing our score to 17-27.
Yeah, both games so far this tournament, we've seen really close matches, lead changes every 5 minutes or so. These are some really great oppositions throughout the entire tournament here in Pittsburgh, PA. T-Puff and Don Juan coming off the line, both straight into a wall of opposing blockers. Don Juan cuts out on the outside and picks up lead jammer for LCC. T-Puff is breaking out for their scoring pass. It's a race for points now. Don Juan hammers to the inside, calls off the jam before T-Puff can do any damage. 3-0 jam for Lane County.
All right, score is sitting at 22-27. Lane County seeing if they can sneak back up. All right. Carolina's Boomerang knocking on that Lane County wall at the top of the pack, looking for a way out. In the meantime, Lane County's Jammer, that is Hot Fuzz, escapes the pack, picks up lead. Let's see if he can score some points. Hot Fuzz makes one quick pass through the pack, sneaks up the outside, calls off the jam. Lane County narrowing that lead. Score is now sitting at 24-27.
And we've seen that throughout the day. These teams are so evenly matched. They're having to constantly adjust their strategies against each other. Keep in mind, this is an international tournament, so a lot of these teams haven't played together. So this might be the first time they're seeing each other's play style. Because of that, you'll see every other jam, people chipping away at a lead. Coming out on a lead for LCC is Adam Splitter. Numchuck still trying to make their way out. They finally pulled away from Photobomb. Adam Splitter hops through the pack, calls off the jam. Adam Splitter picks up.
The excitement of today's games is also why I am speaking a little more quietly than usual. I'm normally very animated on the microphone, but I just screamed my entire way through Pittsburgh versus Chicago.
Another incredibly close game.
And then I'm right back to bench coaching after this game. We are now taking bets on whether I will be able to speak at the end of the day. All right, Black and Wild has escaped the pack for Carolina. Don Juan, the Devastator, comes out of the penalty box, runs onto the back of that pack, seeing if he can find a way out, and there he goes. Both these skaters looking for some points now. Black and Wild does call off the jam. All right, I do see the refs holding some points in the air. Score is now 24 for Lane County and 30 for Carolina. Something I feel like I'll be saying a lot today is it's still anybody's game.
Pittsburgh needs to put that on a t-shirt and sell it, because I think that's the theme of the tournament. Heavy hits right out of the starting whistle. T-Puff coming back through for a second pass on the inside and stopped dead again. There we go. Juke, true to his name, hopping through on the inside. T-Puff had already picked up lead on the previous pass before he was recycled. With that, he called off the jam before Juke was able to come through and score any points. 0-0 jam that time around. We're still at 24-30.
All right, skaters rolling back into position. Whistle blows, the jam is off. Boomerang from Carolina doing some fancy footwork at the back of that pack, looking for a way through. He is, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, being chased through that pack by OMG Becky from Lane County. In the meantime, Hot Fuzz takes advantage of that chaos and escapes the pack. Picks up lead jam for Lane County. Hot Fuzz hitting the pack again, trying to pick up some points. And is pushing hard on a defensive triangle from Carolina. In the meantime, at the back of the pack, we can see Carolina's jammer. That is Shut Ya Mouth. Also looking for a way through as well. Shut Ya Mouth is loose, and they are out of the pack as well. And Hot Fuzz calls off the jam. Score is now at 30 points for Carolina, 28 for Lane County. Also, not the first time I've said that in this game. Will not be the last. I think Lane County's looking for a lead change.
Again, this is what we see when you have two really good teams matched against each other at an equal level. Small point differentials back and forth throughout the day. Kitty, you're a bench coach. What would you be telling your team right now to try to switch it up? Would they keep grinding? Where would you go with this?
If it were my decision to make, I would keep grinding because I don't actually see anything going wrong for either team.
Both teams really evenly matched. Good strategy. Both jammers able to call off an appropriate time. Just like that, Numchunk through for 4 points, calls it off before LCC is able to pick up any. It's just those small little moments being able to build up throughout the game that will start to drive your score up and make sure that your leads becomes separated from the opposing team.
You know, normally at this point in the game, I would have something to say like, watch the penalties or you need to pick up more leads. Honestly, both of these teams do seem to be playing at their absolute best.
That's certainly true. We're into jam. Is that right? Jam 15 already. And very few penalties throughout. We have a very clean penalty box this entire game.
That is Black and Wild just running through that pack for Carolina. Don Juan, the Devastator, looking for a way to sneak up on him. Don Juan making the choice of running directly into the defense rather than trying to juke around them. I gotta say I'm a fan of that method.
Yeah, hammering through and grabbing the points as quickly as possible is definitely a strategy when you have another jammer tight on your heels.
Black and Wild taking a seat in the penalty box for Carolina. That is going to give Lane County what we call a power start.
It's like a timeout, Carolina. Carolina bench coaches deferring with their team, discussing probably similar things we just were kidding about, how we continue to grind points through the rest of the period, or
keep grinding, ask if everyone's doing okay. Does anyone need a rest? Can we sub anyone in? Are there any combos that might be working better? This is where you look to the absolute nitty-gritty details, see if you can fine-tune anything just to pick up a little more steam. Also, this is the time to discuss the possibility of drawing penalties on the other team. See if you can force a cut on their jammer just to give yourselves that 30 seconds to score unopposed.
Which is exactly what Lane County has the opportunity to do now with Black and Wild in the penalty box. And they're taking full advantage of that. Juke's out of the pack and coming around for his first scoring pass. And an apex jump through. It was good. That was a clean jump, picking up 4 points on that pass through the inside. Carolina Jammer still in the penalty box. Juke taking advantage of this power jam, but Black and Wild is back in. And he's through on the inside. Black and Wild is now coming around for his first scoring pass. And Juke calls it off before they have the opportunity. Juke taking that jam to close the gap a little bit. That brings us to a tie game, 37-37.
Oh my goodness. If you look around the building, you will notice the announcers are actually up on this mezzanine. We have a wonderful view of the game. You also can come up here to watch the game if you'd like. I mean, I'm up here, but don't let that stop you. And also, you can visit our merch booths, all of our teams selling T-shirts and other fan gear. And also, we are having a bake sale. Hot Fuzz makes it out of the pack first for Lane County. Seeing if he can score some points and break this tie. Runs right into Carolina's wall that is just not opening up. That is some outstanding defense. Frecklenator trying to play some offense for Hot Fuzz. Carolina's defense just reforms around him, giving Boomerang the opportunity to escape the pack. He is not lead jammer, but he is in fact out and able to score points now. And with that, Hot Fuzz calls off the jam, and it looks like the score we have, in fact, had the lead change I keep talking about. We are at 41 points for Lane County and 37 for Carolina.
Speaking of lead change, you're talking about this venue. This is one of the nicer venues we've had, certainly for a derby tournament. You can join us upstairs. That happens to also be where the bar is. I like to think that that's why they put the announcers here, or at least I'm going to take full advantage of that.
Excellent. And that is T-Puff making their way out of the pack for Carolina. Picked up lead jam. I can see T-Puff's entire body engaged, trying to get every little bit of speed, look for every little quick route around the jammer. And there they go. 4 points for Carolina, which ties this game back up. And just waiting on score confirmation for the refs. Yes, that was in fact 3 more points for Carolina. So we have another lead change, and we are at 41-44. And the other reason you should come up here for the bar is traditionally you drink for a lead change.
Yeah, I was going to say someone needs to warn the bartender. We're bouncing back and forth, and it is well after 2 p.m. I'm sure people are thirsty. Black and Wild out front, lined up. Don Juan still stuck in the back of the pack against Carolina's blockers. Black and Wild through on the inside, picks up the lead. He's going to come back around for his first scoring pass. LCC blockers are trying to break up the Carolina pack. That they did, allowing Don Juan to escape. But they were a little disorganized and allowed Black and Wild to come through on their scoring pass, picking up 4 and calling off the jam. I'm going to find out if he called it before LCC had a chance to score. Looks like LCC picked up 2 points on that pass. Black and Wild a little slow on the call.
All right, and the jam is off. Quick lead for Carolina. That is Numchuck, closely followed by LCC's jammer. Let's see who can pick up some points. That was a very fast, very chaotic jam with everyone spread apart. Much different from the extremely tight pack work I've seen so far this game. It does often take some time for two teams to feel each other out, and then you can start and play a little faster and looser after that. We'll see what happens.
We saw that earlier in Carolina versus Mexico City. They were constantly trading bouts back and forth. One jam strategizing a tight pack the whole time, the next jam speeding around the track. Part of that variable, too, is being able to switch it up and catch the other team off guard.
Yo, it's Fitz in the Twitch chat says, someone give me a vodka soda and a Virginia Slim. I like vodka sodas as well. I actually have never smoked an entire cigarette in my life, but I understand the feeling of needing one right now.
Still an official timeout. Our skating refs in the center of the rink conferring about the previous jam. Discussing the points. Looks like Carolina's jammer ref is indicating one more point for Carolina to go up on the board.
Some fancy footwork out there on the track from number 18, Dr. Dreidel. I also am a fan of dance parties during timeouts. You gotta keep your body moving. Don't let your muscles get cold. Keep that momentum going. When I play, I'm pretty much always busting moves during timeouts. Oh Lord, he is dropping it low. All right, that whistle signals the next whistle starts the jam. We are just about ready.
Some immediate offense on the jammer line. Both jammers, Boomerang and Juke, trying to make their way through. Excuse me, that's not Juke, that's the Riot trying to make through for LCC. And straight through on the inside with an apex jump, picks up lead. Boomerang falls right behind him.
Momentary concern for a potential injury, but Dr. Dreidel is back on his feet. That is T-Puff taking the jam line for Carolina. Seen some really impressive work from them so far. Let's see what happens. Pushing on the back of that pack for Lane County is Adam Splitter. T-Puff does pick up lead. Runs up that inside, takes a big hit from Loose Wheel of Lane County, shrugs it off like it's nothing, says, "Is that all you got?" Keeps going. Impressive defense from Frecklenator, protecting the inside line. Just trying to keep T-Puff from breaking the pack. And T-Puff says, "That's about enough of that. I will call this jam off." And the score is now sitting at 43-56.
Both of these teams today showing an insane amount of physicality, using every bit of their strength and their body and leverage to be able to make their way through that pack or keep the pack where it is, depending on what side of the skate they're on. Up again, got Black and Wild up against Don Juan, fighting a tightly condensed pack. They're able to recycle Don Juan to the back. Black and Wild is out front, picks up lead for Carolina. Don Juan makes it out as well. Loose Wheel able to knock Black and Wild out. Recycle him before he has a chance to pick up too many points. Picks up 1 point on the pass, calls it off, and prevents LCC from scoring any. Current score, Carolina 56, LCC 43.
All right, Numchuck from Carolina looking to hold up Lane County's jammer just a little bit. He does not succeed at that because from Lane County, number 16, Juke is out on the run as lead jammer. Meanwhile, Numchuck, taken to the outside by Lane County's blockers, still looking for a way out of that pack. So far this game, I have been consistently impressed by Lane County's defense. At the back of the pack and at the front, very tight, very mobile, always protecting the edges of the track. Numchuck taking off the jammer cover for a bit, just a strategy to take the other team's eyes off of you for a little while, make them think you might be getting ready to pass it, but he does put that cover on to re-engage with the pack. Numchuck runs through that pack, picks up 4 points. Juke has exited the penalty box, trying to repair the damage from what can happen in even just 30 seconds. Now, since when Juke went to the penalty box, he lost his lead jammer status. That does mean this jam will run the full 2 minutes, as we have no lead jammer to call it off. Numchuck coming back through for Carolina. Pack loosening up a little as this jam wears on. Numchuck runs through to pick up 4 more points, and just like that, the jam is over. Carolina seeing if they can give themselves comfortable lead. The score is now sitting at 43-72.
Yeah, you know, I've really noticed in this game, different from the last game they played today, it seems that they've applied a lot more strategy at preventing scoring on the other team rather than the offensive drive. It looks like they're being very conservative, ensuring that the opposing jammer isn't able to squeak through. And it seems to be working for them. They've slowly started to pull ahead. But that doesn't stop the Riot from pulling ahead for lead jammer out of this. Boomerang is fast on his tails, though. And just like that, it's this aggressive move that's going to incentivize LCC to call it. but they're not going to do it. They're going to keep hammering for points. Boomerang's getting knocked out and recycled. That gives the Riot opportunity to pick up some more and close out the lead. Huge offensive hit from the Riot up against Carolina. And enables him to make his way through.
That was F-Star from Carolina. She is back on her feet and all right.
Riot through for another 4. Boomerang still trying to get through LCC. Gets pushed down the inside and recycled again. Riot making every bit of this jam count. Boomerang still stuck in the mess in the pack. That allows Riot to just bob and weave through, pick up another 4. We're up to 16 points on this jam. Boomerang trying for a star pass. LCC preventing it from happening. During the destruction, the Riot just sneaks through on the outside again. That makes that a 20-0 jam for LCC, eating away at almost any lead Carolina would have drug up during the past few jams.
So sorry. What a jam. That brings our score to 67-75. Carolina's lead no longer looking so comfortable as we head into intermission. This is a good time to head upstairs, visit the bar, visit the merch booth, visit the bake sale, visit the announcers. Okay, maybe don't visit the announcers. And we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Check 1, 1, 2. Mind if I squeeze in there? Sorry.
Check, check. And we're good.
One minute to Derby, coming back to yet another close game after a momentum-shifting score by LCC. Coming back, Carolina 75, Lane County 67.
Okay, as said, Lane County's rallying cry at the beginning of this half, 0-0. It's a fresh start, and Boomerang clears the pack first to pick up lead for Carolina, followed by Don Juan, the Devastator. Let's get into it. Boomerang looking for a way out of that pack. He is knocked to the outside by Lane County's Hot Fuzz. And it looks like 2 points were picked up for Carolina, none for Lane County. And our score is now 67-77.
LCC starting this jam with a block from the penalty box. That could give Carolina an advantage. And T-Puff takes advantage of exactly that. He's out his lead jammer. And followed behind by Juke. T-Puff taking the slalom through for 4. Calls it before Juke can come in and score any points. Forcing your jam for Carolina. This is exactly how we saw them build their lead earlier. Just 4 points at a time, through the pack and call it. That's what you need to do. Let's see if they can be successful this time. Last time it was one high-scoring jam from LCC that offset that. They really have to work to prevent those high-scoring jams coming in from the other team.
That is the riot from Lane County, just kind of going back and forth and side to side, looking for any way through Carolina's defense, which has honestly just been impressing the heck out of me this entire game. Black and Wild out jamming for Lane County. He is knocked to the inside. Sorry, Black and Wild jamming for Carolina, rather. Please forgive me, I am very tired. Black and Wild does pull lead after being knocked around a bit by Lane County's defense. Black and Wild being closely followed by the Riot. Black and Wild does a little apex jump, leaps over a couple blockers, making it look easy, calls off the jam before Lane County can score. Do believe that was 2 points for Carolina. Score is now 67 to 83.
Talk about changing your strategy to match your opponent. That was first time we've seen Lane County. They were keeping their speed up through the whole pack, making Black and Wild work for every bit of those points. And Numchuck breaks out for lead jammer for Carolina. Adam Splitter still trying to make it through for LCC. They've been recycled once, and here's the second time. Numchuck threw for his first pass. Both jammers stuck in the pack behind the opposing blockers. Difference is Numchuck scoring points. Adam Splitter still isn't. Adam Splitter completes a star pass to Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz gets recycled, though. It's not doing much help. He's going to have the same issue Adam did. But he makes it through on the outside for LCC. He's setting up for his first scoring pass. Carolina calling off the jam before Hot Fuzz has an opportunity to score.
Score is now sitting at 67 to 86. Carolina just trying to pull that lead away, and every few jams, Lane County says, "Oh, no, you don't." Don Juan the Devastator picks up lead for Lane County. Boomerang takes off that star pass, takes off that jammer cover a little bit, just trying to create a little bit of confusion in Lane County's defense. Does clear the pack, puts it back on. Don Juan the Devastator puts up a couple of points for Lane County before being forced to call it off. Just like I said, Carolina tries to pull away with that lead, and Lane County says, "Oh, no, you don't." So Lane County is now at 70 with Carolina at 88. As I am sure I will be so tired of saying this weekend, it's still anybody's game.
Yeah, we've seen 20-0 jams this game itself. So it is within one jam to be able to turn this game one direction or the other. And with every intent to do it, we have Juke coming out lead, firing off the jammer line. T-Puff, though, both jammers, aggressive skaters. T-Puff and Juke have both been hammering through. Juke sees T-Puff coming, calls off the jam after scoring 4 through the pack. It's a 4-0 jam for Lane County.
I do believe so.
Yeah, that was the first game in my so for them, there was just that was for them. It's the first game. So for them, first game in the MIB. They played other teams.
All right, let's get into it. Oh my goodness, these jammers are neck and neck. This jam is going to come down to blocker positioning. Lane County seeing if they can form a tight wall at the back of the pack, and just like that, the jam is called off. 0-0. Just a little clock burner there. They'll set it back up, see what happens next time.
Sometimes the best option in that situation is to call it off before it even starts. You know exactly what the score is before you enter to the pack. No telling what's going to happen once they hit the pack. Don Juan out ahead for Lane County. Picks up lead jammer, filed right through. Numchuck still stuck in the back. They're doing a great job of blocking him. Keeps knocking him in the inside, recycle him. Don Juan on a scoring pass now. Brick House doing a good job of preventing Don Juan to pass, but he goes around the outside, picks up 4 and calls it. Another 4-0 jam for Lane County. They're going to keep chipping away at that lead that Carolina grabs. Carolina's got to get on the defense and make sure that they don't lose too much of that.
All right, let's see what happens. Boomerang just beating on Lane County's defense, looking for any possible way out of that pack. Lane County, unfortunately, says, "We've got your number, Boomerang." They are pulling him all the way back. At which point, Carolina's defense does the exact same thing to Lane County's jammer. Both jammers still stuck in the pack, just looking for any little space to get out, any miscalculation made by their blockers. Lane County was just that outstanding defense at the top of the pack. Boomerang does clear that. He is lead jammer. He is closely followed by, from Lane County, number 16, that is Juke. Waiting for confirmation from the referees that was, in fact, a 0-0 jam. The lead jammer decided it was just too close to take that risk. Just 10 points separate these teams. We've got 20 minutes left in this half.
I'll tell you what, the hero of that jam is Juke, absolutely powering out of the initial pass and coming out of nowhere to chase down Boomerang and be able to stop that score. T-Puff and the Riot head-to-head on the jammer line. Riot comes out front of the pack, picks up lead. T-Puff still stuck in with the LCC blockers. T-Puff knocked just outside by Photobomb. Gets recycled. That's going to allow Riot to come through for 4 and set up for another. T-Puff tries for the inside, doesn't work, goes outside, same thing happens, recycled back. Riot comes through with a quick jump, picks up 4. T-Puff has removed the star from his helmet. T-Puff, again, trying through the inside. LCC just absolutely stopping him every way he turns. Riot picking up a heck of a jam there. Another 4 on that pass.
Lead change.
We've seen it again, folks. 90 LCC to 88 for Carolina. That seems to be the score. The score throughout the game as Carolina sneaks up a lead. LCC comes through with a big jam just like that one and evens it up. It's like we have a team timeout on the Carolina side. Kitty, again, looking to your experience, you take a bit of a loss and a lead change off of that past jam. What are you saying to your players on the bench?
So you're going to pull everyone together. You're going to look for any kind of sprouting negativity, and we're going to remind them that that jam is behind us. We're all going to take some deep breaths. We're all going to relax. This is probably a time to put out what you call your power line, put your strongest players out there. Just time to give yourselves a little bit of a reset. The other reason you want to call those timeouts after a big jam by the opposing team is that's going to kill their momentum.
Conveniently, it also allows people to run to the bar. grab a drink right after that lead change.
Black and Wild moves back to get a little bit of momentum and take off for Carolina. He is jamming unopposed as Lane County's jammer takes a seat in the penalty box. Black and Wild signaling something to his team. I couldn't tell you what. But he looks for a way through that pack, just looking like a pinball. He is knocked from one side to the other. Carolina's defense very intelligently responding to Lane County. Carolina's blockers making sure they trap anyone who has the potential to run Black and Wild back. Speaking of running back, the Riot run back by Carolina's blockers. Black and Wild back out to pick up some points. Oh, Black and Wild is heading to the penalty box, with the Riot able to score unopposed for just a little bit. That 30-second penalty could be just what they need to try and turn this game around. The Riot tries to call the jam off and is gently reminded by the officials, "You are not lead jammer, sir." I do believe there is no lead jammer in this jam, thus we are going to run the full 2 minutes. Black and Wild released from the penalty box. So the next 25 seconds are just going to be a foot race. The Riot pushing on Carolina's defense on top of that pack. Black and Wild gets knocked to the outside on turn 3. I'm sorry, that was turn 1. Knocked the outside on turn 1. Does a flip of some sort, and then gets back in the pack. I'm going to assign him a, you get 5 style points for that. They're not real, but I gave them to you.
Style points are kind of like points from whose line is it anyway? They're made up, they don't matter. Just like friendship on the derby track. And Numchuck out for lead for Carolina. Gonna try to claim their lead back. But Photobomb's out behind him. This is only going to be a one and done situation. Ooh, but takes a huge hit from Frecklinator. Gives it enough time for Photobomb to come back and pick up some points as well. So Numchuck's going to be through for 4. Let's look to the camera ref. Looks like LCC picked up 1 point on that pass. Three point differential on that jam.
The score is now 98 to 96. There could be another lead change soon.
I tell you what, for the folks in the audience, they are getting their money's worth today with this tournament. It has just been a day full of incredibly close games. And if you are within the state of Pennsylvania, you should be in your car headed here now because it is an incredible tournament.
Birthday. All right, I have been gently reminded that we have 2 birthdays in the house today from Pittsburgh Roller Derby. First, we have Hurricane Heather, and as well, Phoenix, who is actually out on that track doing a little maintenance right now. Happy birthday. Hurricane Heather, who you've seen on the track and is somewhere around here right now, probably gearing up for the next game. Happy birthday, Heather. I'm proud to be your teammate.
Looks like LCC is called for an official review. We've got the NSOs and refs in the middle discussing.
All right. I have just been informed by our officials that Lane County is requesting a high block on Carolina, which actually I also saw addressed in the Twitch chat. So, Goldie 19, you are magic. As soon as we have results, I will report back to you. All right, and the officials have in fact given me a thumbs down, meaning that call is in fact not going to be made. The officials' decision will stand. The team does not retain their review, and we are back to action. I'd like to take a minute to thank the officials for informing me so fast.
Don Juan through picking up lead jammer for LCC. They've just taken the lead, and now it's Don Juan's job to make sure to spread that lead out as far as possible. Carolina's going to try to keep him from doing it, though. LCC doing a great job of holding back Boomerang, but Boomerang finally makes it out. Don Juan picked up 4 boomerangs on the first scoring pass. Don Juan playing some offense on Boomerang. Boomerang dodges it, comes right back in. That is fruitless. Don Juan says, I give up, calls off the jam, and prevents Boomerang from scoring. An awesome jam watching LCC pick up another 4.
Did you see that Boomerang just jumped over Don Juan? And I was just thinking while I watched that jam how incredibly smooth Don Juan's skating style is. And then I remembered his name is Don Juan. So, you know, there you have it. All right. T-Puff looking for a way up the inside of that pack for Carolina. Juke looking for the same route. In fact, is knocked to the inside of the track by Carolina's blockers. T-Puff has come out to take lead. Some very, very precise footwork by Juke kept him on his feet and able to keep going. T-Puff calls off the jam. Just waiting for a final score report from the officials, but it's close. Okay, Carolina did in fact pick up 3 points that jam. We are now sitting at 102 for Lane County, 99 for Carolina.
Again, we keep seeing it out of Juke. It's like he hits the nitrous button and just launches out of the pack every time. That's a winning strategy for LCC so far. We'll see if they continue to use Juke in that way. And here we go. Here he comes again. Juke out as lead jammer for LCC. Lane County really taking advantage. Black and Wild's going to come behind him, though, and try to prevent any damage. But Juke has this opportunity to score 4 before Black and Wild makes it there. And through the inside, he picks it up. Black and Wild will head to the penalty box. Juke's on a power jam. This is the opportunity for Lane County to pull ahead. Juke takes an easy stroll through the inside for another 4. Absolutely sidestepping Carolina. A juke to the right and a juke to the left. Juke is living up to his name through every pass through the pack. I get it now. There it is again through the inside on a toe stop. A huge hit from Carolina on Juke. Black and Wild back in, trying to stop some of the damage. Juke headed to the penalty box. Black and Wild also headed to the penalty box. Juke's going to be able to stand as soon as Black and Wild sits. Black and Wild have to serve the same time Juke did. Here comes Juke again. Still holding a lead in this jam. LCC's been able to shut out Black and Wild so far. Let's see if they can keep it up. And that's the end of the jam. Juke picks up another 2 on that pass, looking for the jammer ref. Yeah, it looks like Black and Wild was also able to pick up some points, 2 on that pass. But LCC, Lake County's pulled ahead, 116 to 101 on a 14 to 2 jam.
Okay, just 15 points separating these teams, 10 minutes and 22 seconds left in this game. Don Juan, the Devastator, pushing his way through the inside of that pack, is held up by Carolina's defense. Slinging grits knocked to the ground by one of Lane County's blockers in an effort to get Don Juan out of there. Don Juan picks up lead coming around that corner. Slinging grits, looking for a way to counter Lane County's defense, just looking for any way to shut them down just a little bit to get Black and Wild out. Backing right up on Don Juan, she is pushed off by Frecklenator, who says, "Get off my jammer." Some unintentional fancy footwork from Black and Wild. I believe he just did the splits. Just waiting for score confirmation from the officials. And it looks like we are at 101 to 118. I'm sorry, whenever the whistle blows, I feel the need to get very quiet. Important things are happening.
Yeah, I think the result, that fancy footwork was the result of Black and Wild realizing that he had cut and trying to turn half his body around to make his way back, but the other half of the body still going forward. Carolina's taking the opportunity to call for an official review. Sammy D on the Twitch chat says, Don Juan still trucking. You love to see it. Rolling whistle restarts the clock. There was no point change and no one sent to the penalty box. So I'm guessing whatever the review was denied. Numchuck breaks out ahead for Carolina. Is going to use this opportunity to try to scratch back some of the lead LCC has picked up. Hot Fuzz still stuck behind Carolina blockers, trying to make his way through. Numchuck through the outside picks up 4. Numchuck through again on a second scoring pass. Straight through the center into an LCC tripod. And finds a gap, takes it, picks up 4. Hot Fuzz passing the star to the Riot. Riot gets knocked to the outside, recycled back. Numchuck's through on another scoring pass, takes the outside. LCC was distracted. He just barely gets picked off at the end by number 60. And Riot through on the inside, able to clear the pack. Numchuck still stuck in, calls off the jam before Riot can score any points. It's a 12-0 jam for Carolina there, picking the score back up. Lane County 118, Carolina 113.
T-Puff just getting knocked to the inside of that track over and over again by Loose Wheel and Frecklenator. Eventually does make his way out of that pack, picks up lead. Lane County's jammer, Juke, being sent to the penalty box. This could be just what Carolina needs to take this game back. Frecklenator just getting in there, doing her best to make sure that doesn't happen. T-Puff running back in. I've really seen just some outstanding but very aggressive blocking from Frecklenator today. The jam is called off, just waiting for score confirmation from the officials. Lead change. It's time to drink. The score is now sitting at 118 for Lane County, 120 for Carolina. There is just under 6 minutes left in this game. I do believe, if you are not already, it is time to get hype.
And Black and Wild out through, picks up the lead for Carolina. Don Juan picks up a penalty right out. Black and Wild's on a power jam. Black and Wild with the apex jump, clears the 2 Lane County blockers, picks up 4 for his first pass, setting up for his second. Black and Wild just tried to skate through the inside that time, didn't work, but the outside does. There's 4 more points for Carolina. Can he do it a third? Loose Wheel putting up a fight. He doesn't want Black and Wild to get through. Meanwhile, Don Juan's back in, trying for his first pass. Boomerang spins him out. It's now a foot race between Black and Wild and Don Juan. The pack's speeding up to prevent any scoring. Great offense by Black and Wild, knocking Don Juan out. That's going to give Black and Wild an opportunity to come through for the score. The pack's going to try to accelerate ahead and keep Black and Wild from scoring. Oh, Black and Wild taking a tiny trip, losing his advantage, and he calls the jam. It's a 12-0 jam for Carolina. The score is 132-118, Carolina Wrecking Balls.
Carolina seeing if they can bring this home. Now holding a 14-point lead. It looks like Lane County is calling a timeout. This is the time for their team to huddle up, discuss what they can do about it in the short amount of time they have left in this game.
We've seen it before. The strategy seems to be put Juke in and just let them fire through, hold everyone else back. Frucklinator is standing up, ready to go in. We've seen some incredible blocking from her throughout the game. She could be a key part to that strategy. Heard a couple crowd members say shake and bake. I'm not sure if that's an official strategy, but I'm here for it.
The only reply I have to that is no more shake and bake. Now it's El Diablo and the Magic Man.
Oh, my word.
Numchuck just fighting his way up that inside line. Numchuck has, in fact, picked up lead for Carolina. Juke seeing if he can do anything to counter that. Numchuck just runs past Photobomb and calls off the jam. The score is now 118 for Lane County, 136 for Carolina, 3.5 minutes left to go.
Again, an 18-point lead. We've seen 20-point jams pretty repeatedly from Lane County. That is 100% within the possibility of happening on this jam. Close to 3 minutes left in the second half. And Black and Wild up against Riot. Oh, Black and Wild takes it through, and Riot takes the opportunity to hammer through, picks up lead. Lane County has lead jammer with Riot. Black and Wild still fighting through, but he is through the pack too. Riot on the outside. T-Puff just knocks him out as he makes it through. He calls it before Black and Wild has a chance to score. That's good for 3 points for Lane County. No points for Carolina on that jam.
Carolina making some last-minute changes on that line. 118 to 136. Don Juan, the Devastator, looking for a way up the outside of that pack, running head-on into Carolina's blockers. He does, in fact, pick up, just waiting for confirmation from the jam ref, he does, in fact, pick up lead for Lane County. Quick hit to the outside on Don Juan. However, the skater who hit him out is sent to the penalty box, leaving him free to go rather than being pulled back. And he is coming back around to try and pick up some more points. We're down to a 14-point differential between these two teams. T-Puff has escaped the pack, seeing if he can put an end to Don Juan's scoring run. I do believe that was another 4-point pass for Don Juan, or was it 3? That was, in fact, a 4-point pass. We are now at 126 to 136. 10 points separating these teams. 1 minute left to go. Anything can happen.
Black and Wild and Juke out as the jammers for this pivotal jam in this game. Juke takes lead. That's going to be incredibly important with Lane County having the deficit. This is going to be a high-speed jam, folks, as Carolina is going to try to prevent scoring, and Juke's going to do everything he can to try to make some points back. 20 seconds left on the game clock.
Try and get them to hold it while he can run more.
Juke picked up 3 points on that pass. Black and Wild picked up 4. LCC blocker is opening a gap for Juke, letting him through, but Black and Wild makes his own way. It is a foot race if I have ever seen one, and they are hammering for points. The game timer has elapsed, minute left on the jam timer. Juke's going to try to make every use of this that he can. Black and Wild doing just as much effort to keep off the points.
Is Black and Wild going to the penalty box? Oh my God! Black and Wild takes a seat in the penalty box. 42 seconds left, 30 of which Duke can score unopposed.
Carolina doing an incredible job keeping Juke back. We've seen Juke throughout the game just power through with points, taking a spin move and a bit of a misstep. That's going to recycle him back.
The jam is called for injury.
Oh, it was great. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the rest of the game.
I mean, to be honest, I'm looking forward to going to bed tonight. I love them. Just make sure you let them hide the top. Honestly, I'm so goddamn loud. I don't have that.
Brickhouse from Carolina able to make his way off the track under his own power. Big thank you to our medics and EMTs for keeping us safe.
Still waiting on a final score from the officials. The jam was called for injury. Could have been going in and hurting. game is over.
And with that, they whistle off the end of the game. Kitty, we'll go to you for the score.
All right, our unofficial final for this game is 136 for Lane County, 137 for Carolina. A hard-fought game by both sides. Both teams played incredibly well. Such impressive defense. I got to move on to the next thing. I'm Kitty Black.